Hi, my name's Anthony Cummins and welcome to this part 3 of investigating the iconic ninja sword. Now I'm going to apologise to people now if I come across a little simplistic. Because so many people are misunderstanding my point, I'm going to keep this as basic as possible. Remember, the historical ninjutsu team is about, our core element is about finding the history of ninjutsu and dispelling the myth. So I'm going to go right back to the facts, like we should do as good researchers, get back to the beginning and we'll bin everything else. This investigation is to get rid of the myth and understand the truth behind this. So, okay, that is what everybody believes a ninja sword to be, and they all believe Stephen Hayes invented this. Stephen Hayes did not make this guard up, it's already in the ninja myth. Lastly, the detachable tip. Now, here's the Bansen Shukai from Nawa's version, and there's the detachable tip, and that was in 1975. Now, Stephen Hayes was studying from Nawa and people like that. He did not invent that. So of the 4 things that are the iconic ninja sword, Stephen Hayes is only liable for a slight straightening. Literally that. That is all historically Stephen Hayes has ever been or can be accused of doing. So did the ninja sword, or did a ninja sword as an icon exist before Stephen Hayes? This is a picture from Iga Ueno Museum. What does it say on the billboard? It doesn't say Stephen Hayes inspired. It said, this is a ninja sword. It was prevalent, but it stopped being used in the Edo period. That information is probably incorrect. However, they do not mention Stephen Hayes. They do not mention him at all. However, it's a straight-bladed sword. So, we all agree, yeah, take a minute now, do we all agree? The ninja sword, in our opinion, is not a recognisable sword. It cannot be recognisable. Yet here's a picture in 1961 of Dr. Hatsumi with a ninja sword, and he says it's a ninja sword. Why does nobody question Dr. Hatsumi telling everyone there is such thing as a ninja sword? And in my opinion, if you look at it, just showing you the arrow, there's something behind the tsuba. And if you look at this picture, it actually looks like shuriken. This is the 1961 Pictorial magazine. Can somebody get a copy of this at better resolution? I think Hatsumi is actually displaying shuriken behind a square guard, the iconic ninja problem. So, can anybody get this magazine? We could really do with this. Now, that sword, looking at it, think about it guys, that is a ninja toe. It is exactly the same as Stephen Hayes, except for it goes that. The slightest bend, the slightest bend. So I have a question, Don. This is for Don Rowley. Now, me and Don spoke amicably on the Facebook yesterday, so I thank you for that, Don. For the first time, it's nice we had a conversation. So, Don, I've got a question, and I'm being honest with this question. Either Manaka and Hatsumi are total idiots, or they lied, or you are lying. It's still the same question. Please answer this question. Here is Hatsumi's sword, and here is a modern 2010 ninja sword. Really? Manaka did not understand the difference? Really? You have everything before Stephen Hayes. Stephen Hayes did not invent the ninja sword. It was a public icon. There's only one thing Stephen Hayes can be accused of, and that is moving the blade from the slightest curve to a straight. Look at this picture. Look at the 2 lines. That I've done 1 line across the curve of the sword, and 1 line is a direct straight line. That is all Stephen Hayes can be accused of. Are you telling me that Stephen Hayes did a world conspiracy on 1.5, 2 millimeters? Are you really saying, guys, that this is Stephen Hayes' conspiracy? So that leaves us with the sword is an iconic ninja sword. It was not invented by Stephen Hayes. It was put forward by Masaki Hatsumi, Nawa, Fujisa Seiko. They all said the same thing. There is a specific ninja sword. Why is nobody questioning that? I say there isn't, but yet they're all saying there is. So either Hatsumi is saying ninjas have a real sword that is recognisable as a ninja sword, or you are saying Hatsumi is fake. Which one? Because you can't argue both sides of the argument, which everybody seems to be doing. Hatsumi says black and white, there's a specific ninja sword. History says there is not. Okay, argument 2. This is where Buffon is really getting confused, and I think it's because English is his second language, so I apologise, Buffon, if you are confused, but this is the issue. We know there's an iconic ninja sword in Japan. The problem is, we see this sword in history in around 1840s, but we then see it again in the 1960s. We're missing a 100-year gap. That's the gap the Historical Ninjutsu Research Team is looking for. I'm asking for your help. I don't know why everything's become a big argument on this one point. Okay, the 1600s. Here's the actual document. Here's the quote. Everyone, I want you to stop. Please, please, do not ignore this point. It's there from 1600. Okay, if it's down to our statistic image on the images, Buffon, you put the lines across your swords as they do. Here's two swords from the same image. You're telling me anyone who ever copied this manual got it wrong, and that it's all of them artistic image of a curved sword is a straight sword. There are clearly both types on most of the documents, straight and curved. It is totally logical with this quote that straight and curved swords existed at the time. Nagayama, okay, the expert on swords, a Japanese expert, he is saying, these are the quotes he has given. Now, everybody is saying I have misinterpreted his quotes. I have not at all. He says that it is common to find these changed, which means how many were there in the start? How many of these Nagamakis were there? Thousands? Hundreds of thousands? Tens of thousands? Hundreds? A lot. He says all of the ones, or most of the ones that are recovered, have been changed to swords. Guys, what does that tell you in history? If most of them have been changed, it was a popular thing to do. Other things like that may also exist. We also know that they cut down. So, people have complained saying he doesn't say the word straight in his text. I'm sorry, but I did not think I had to be that simplistic. He says they alter the curve. Then he shows a big picture. Here is the picture. You can only alter a curve in two ways. You can either make it more curved or you can make it straighter. Are you really telling me I need to explain these things? The picture shows you it's straighter. Now, to prove this, because apparently people don't understand this concept, what I'm going to do is I got Jason Kane, my graphics designer, and I sent him the picture, and as you see there's a dotted outline in the inside. He's a graphic designer. I got him to take out the dotted line. Here are the two pictures. The first picture is the original sword. The second picture is the sword that is taken out. This drawing is not by me. This is by Nagayama, who is an expert on swords. This is his technical drawing from swords he has had the opportunity to witness. Is this or is this not a straight sword? I want to ask you a question. Did the straight sword exist when it's cut down? Yes. Did the Japanese sword handle exist? Yes. Did square tsubas exist? Yes. What happens when we do this? So did people put square tsubas on swords? Did people cut swords from spears and make them straight? According to Nagayama, they did. So, here are some Musori swords. These are all swords that are from the 16 and 1700s. Now, remember, we do know from the royal armouries that they say they cut these swords down. So they cut katanas down to make them shorter. And we know that in the 1600s they say they have straight swords. So I'm not saying... Buffon seems to think I'm saying that chokuto is actually what I'm saying. I'm not even mentioning that word. I am saying what considered to be a straight sword existed in Japan when they were chopping up swords. So now look at this, guys. This is a 1600 swords, okay? I've put a tsuba on it and I've put a handle on it, just on paint. Really, that does not represent a ninja toe. That is not where this iconic image could have come from, which is our goal. Here you go. Also, Hatsumi shows on these swords in his book. Here's a picture of one of the blades Hatsumi has. Now, it has to be straight because it's in a cane. Of course, it's 2 or 3 millimeters off, but so it needs to be in a cane, it needs to be straight. Here's it with a guard. So, the big argument here is everything has been proven except for 3 or 4 millimeters. That's it. 3 or 4 millimeters of gap, which we know they used to chop down anyway. So we're looking for the tiniest gap. So you've got 2 ashigaru. Ashigaru number 1 says, "Excuse me, pass me that sword." And the guy goes, "Which sword? Would you like the curved katana or would you like the curved katana that has only got 3 millimeters of a gap?" No, they would say, "Pass me the straight sword," like it says in the quote. "Pass me the katana, pass me the straight katana." That would be it, guys. It's not difficult concept. We're looking for the precursor or the antecedent of the ninja iconic sword. It's found, it's there in history. We need to connect it. So, according to Nagayama, according to the museums, literally nearly straight swords existed and were chopped up. And according to Nagayama, they were cut out of spears and made straight. According to his picture. Now, or slightly curved, but we're talking millimeters. The big question is this: where's the missing section? 1600 quote. 1800s, we've got a picture. 100 years missing. 1960, Masaki Hatsumi introduces the classic ninja toe to the world with a slight curve, a 3 millimeter gap. Okay, which leads me to my second conversation. Ashigaru 1 and Ashigaru 2. Ashigaru 1 says, "Pass me the ninja sword." Ashigaru 2 says, "Which is the ninja sword?" There are 2 swords. One has got a straight blade, which we've been using in the Edo period, and one has got a 3 millimeter curve. Which is the ninja sword? Or it's clearly the one with the 3 millimeter curve. Can't you see the difference? One has a 3 millimeter curve. That's how ridiculous the opposition's argument is. They're discussing 3 millimeters as though an Ashigaru would care. As though a ninja would care. So guys, to round up, we've got it there, it's real, we've got it. We've got nearly straight swords, which are considered almost the same as the ninja toe with the square handles. How did it connect to Fujita Seiko and Masaki Hatsumi in the 1960s? How? They both say it's the ninja sword. Somebody help the team fill in this gap. Right guys, I hope that solves the question and I look forward to your answers. See you soon. Bye-bye. P.S. guys, look what somebody got me from my family. My family gave me this. Because they were looking at the videos.